Damn. Alright. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Let's just be completely bluntly obvious. I remember back in like grade 5, I would always just see women, or like, they weren't women, but girls, who were like so focused in school. They were just like, yep, take your notes, like, yep. And then they would be the ones raising their hands up, like, yep, so this is 2 plus 2 is actually 4. Yeah, you know what I mean? And then the guys would be like the dumb little kids in the back, just like, I mean, there'd be like that one nerd. Okay, this is really rude, but there'd be like that one nerd in school that would just like sit in the front, and he'd be like the smart guy, right? But most of the guys, like me especially, like we were like all in the back, pretty much, like being like super dumb, just being super dumb, like just goofing around and like. And then the teacher, and then would be talking. I would bring my laptop to school. When I first got my laptop, I'd bring it to school, and me and my friend. So, okay, how do I explain this to you? In the classroom, at the back, there were a lot of these, like, like where you do your science experiments for chemistry. Like, you have like a sink, like a little like desk with like a sink in the middle. So like, me and my friend would purposely sit there where no one else was sitting during a lecture. We would sit over there just so we can charge our laptops and secretly play Minecraft in the background. Like, we would do that. We would sit in the back just to play Minecraft. We had no intention in school. So, we thought that like girls were just smarter than us. We thought the guys were just naturally dumb. We thought guys were just stupid. You know what I mean? I remember like they would get better marks. Most of the girls would get better marks than us, and they would be like so like focused in their classes, studying all day. Their notes would be so beautiful. Like, I've never seen such beautiful notes before, and all that. And secretly, I wanted to be smart in school. I wanted to do good in school, because who doesn't? But we just chose fun instead. But because I'm a guy, I'm just dumber than them, right? Until recently, like not recently, but until recent times, the last 2 years, I figured out that's not supposed to be the case. Now, I'm not saying that girls are dumb. For example, Aisha radiallahu anha, she was an intelligent woman. But without getting cancelled here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave men that intellect in order to go provide, in order to go take care, in order to think about complex situations. Men are not supposed to be dumb. Okay, and how this relates to the video topic, which is stop being mediocre, is the fact that we are not supposed to be mediocre. We're supposed to be the ones that are smart enough to land jobs so that we can provide for our wife. But now it's become, as I mentioned in a couple of videos, like yesterday's video I mentioned, it's become the opposite now. They are smarter than us. They are more disciplined than us. They're grinding more than us. They don't get as distracted like us. And now they're the ones getting the jobs. And I'm not crying about it, but I'm crying about the fact that men have become the opposite now. In terms of, we used to be ambitious. We used to be purposeful. We used to be, we used to go out and hunt. And I'm saying this as a person, me as well. I'm not saying that I'm like some like caveman who's like crazy strong and like I'm providing. I'm not providing. I don't have a wife yet, but even then I should be doing more. So needless to mention, we're not supposed to be like that. So my issue was that I just chased pleasure all the time. And because of that, despite wanting to be stronger, despite wanting to be more successful in school and getting higher marks, and despite wanting to be more productive and more disciplined and having a good body and having money and whatever the case, I always stopped myself. I always chose the easy route. And deep down in my heart, deep down in my mind, I knew I could have done better. I knew I could have chose a different path. I knew that if I just did the hard work, I would have achieved whatever I set out to achieve, whatever Allah has written for me, inshallah. Again, we're not taking away from the fact that Allah has already written everything, but Allah also wants us to work hard. As the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, tie your camel and trust in Allah. So work hard and trust in Allah's qadr. But if you're not working hard, like, we always stop ourselves in like the middle. Like, every time something got hard, like this is especially so prevalent, bro. Back in like grade 10, grade 11, grade 12, like my high school years, I've never worked hard. I wasn't doing good in high school because of the fact that I would wake up at like 10 a.m., 11 a.m. during school days. When my school started at like 7, 8 a.m., I would wake up late. My parents would have to drag me out of bed. And trust me, I was 17. I was 17 years old, which was just 3 years ago. And my parents would have to come into my room. It's like almost midday, almost 12 a.m. 12 p.m. Sorry, it's almost noon. They would have to scream at me, drag me out of bed, and I would just be like, I'm not going. I'm not going. You don't know how many days I missed from school, especially grade 12. You don't know how many days I missed. I just used to say, okay, I'm not going. I'm not going. I'm not, no. And then I would wake up. The first thing I would do, scroll on my phone, because that was just like a routine thing. I needed to pleasure myself like right away. And then while scrolling, after like an hour, I would be too tired anyway. So I would come to my desk. I'll sit in this desk right here. And the first thing I'll do is open up Valorant, which is a video game. And I'll just play that. So that was my fun. So how can I ever be good at school? How can I ever get good marks if that's what all I'm doing? Chasing pleasure all the time. And wallahi, that's why I had such a 180. I had such a 180. You know, there came a time where it was almost 2 years ago now, where I started to come across like Andrew Tate, Iman Gaji, if you know these people online, and they talked about, you know, making money online and becoming rich and becoming financially and location and, you know, just time freedom, you know, having that entrepreneurship lifestyle, making money, driving nice cars, living in Dubai, and all of this. And this is when I was not really practicing in Islam, just to make sure. I was barely praying and stuff like that. So as a disclaimer, so I would see this stuff. I'm like, how are these guys making so much money? And then they talked about the mediocre lifestyle. They talked about the mediocre lifestyle where people purposefully don't push themselves. People purposefully don't go out of their way to work hard. They just seek pleasure all the time and they choose the easy way out and they live a average mediocre lifestyle and they know that they could have done more. Now there's a difference between you trying your hardest, you just moved to a new country and you need a job and that's why you're living the average. That's not average because you're doing it out of need. But if you're someone who has that free time and you choose to work an easy job and you choose to just come home after your job and just take out a pizza out of your oven and turn on Netflix and just watch Netflix all night, that is what I'm talking about. The mediocre average lifestyle. Not pushing yourself when you know you can. And then a couple years later, you get married. You get married, but then your wife is more ambitious than you are. And so she gets the job, and then she, you know, makes the money, and then she takes care of the children, and then she still cooks, and she still goes to her job, and you're here in your room playing video games at the age of 30 years old, watching Netflix on TV, becoming literally fat, and then you wonder why my wife doesn't respect me anymore? How does that make any literal sense? That's what we men are becoming, because especially like in the TV shows, I talked about it even yesterday as well. If you watch like stuff like Family Guy and many other shows, they always showed the husband as like a little like man-child. A little man-child who's fat, who just like acts like a child when he has kids. His wife bosses him around. That's what we're becoming now. Because we're not pushing ourselves. Now let's bring this back to Islam. Does Allah want us to be like this? Does Allah want us to be lazy, pathetic losers who know, like we know we could do more. We know we could work harder, but we don't. Imagine how are we gonna say what we're gonna say to Allah on the Day of Judgment. Oh Allah, I'm sorry, but you know, my work was very hard and I came home after, you know, a couple of hours of working and, you know, I just feel really tired. I just gotta watch a little bit of Netflix. Like, you know, that's just how it is. Is that what you're gonna say to Allah on Day of Judgment? Oh, you know, like, I missed a little bit of Salah. I don't really pray Fajr, but I still, you know, I'm still a Muslim. You know, like, is that what we're gonna say to Allah on the Day of Judgment? Why do you think Allah wants us to wake up at 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. or whenever your time is Fajr? Like, why do you think He wants us to wake up 1 hour before sunrise? Why? Because Allah wants to hurt us? Because Allah wants us to lose out on sleep? Allah wants us to make us disciplined, have a routine, to have a purpose, to have a goal. So we can be not just the best in this dunya, but the akhirah as well, the next life as well. Do you know the famous dua? رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. That famous dua that you say when you're doing your tawaf as well, around the Kaaba, when you're doing Umrah or Hajj, you'll say that dua. Take in what it says. رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً. Dunya. وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً. And the next life. You're making dua for this life and the next life in that one dua. So, just to mention, we want to do good in this dunya. We have a purpose in this dunya. This dunya is a test. This dunya is a test. And this dunya can be used as a tool to get to the next life, which is the real life. But how, if you're just wasting time in this dunya, then how are we going to get to the next life? It doesn't work like that. I don't know if you saw this one video. It's called the rat race video. It's like an animation, right? And it's so profound. It's so like powerful that this one video changed a lot of the ways, of course, through Allah's qadr changed the way I saw a lot of things. The rat race lifestyle. The lifestyle of rat race, chasing pleasure until the day you die. That's what our society has become. And that is also why our society is not only the most unfulfilled, but also the most depressed that they've ever been in their life. Because no one is on their purpose. Everyone is focusing on pleasure, and that pleasure that they chase leaves them feeling more emptier than before. So we are all on a chase. We are all chasing emptiness, material pleasures, stimulating pleasures, and higher suicide rate. That's what we're chasing now. You know, there was a time in November of 2023 where I was the most depressed that I've ever felt in my life. A lot of things happened, which I won't go into. But what I will say is that time when I used to wake up at 11 a.m. in the morning, like almost the morning is almost done. I would wake up at that time. I would scroll for 1 or 2 hours, and then I would get up and I would barely brush my teeth. I would look at myself, my body, and I was literally fat, chubby. Like I looked like I had an hourglass shape or something. I'm a guy, and I'm a male. And then after I would look at myself in the body, I'm already tired because I scrolled 2 hours earlier. I would be like, like I already felt groggy. I'll come downstairs. I would just eat whatever's on the table. Start eating. A couple hours pass by. Come back to the desk. Start playing Valorant. And then I'd go to FIFA. And I would play FIFA until 1 or 2 a.m. And when I'm playing FIFA, you know, I don't even feel like playing. I'm just playing it for no reason. I'm not even enjoying it. And then I'd get a knock on my door. My dad would open the door. He just came back from work. Imagine my dad's been working for 8-9 hours, right? He comes back from work. It's 12 a.m. It's midnight. And he just sees me playing games. Imagine what he would feel in his heart. Like imagine how he's been working for 9 hours a day. He's been working that long, and then he just sees his son wasting his money that he's providing for me just to play games. At least study for an hour. At least study or do something. I didn't even touch studying. My first year university marks came back clear as day. It wasn't good at all. So I felt unfulfilled. I had no purpose. I was chasing empty pleasure all day. Literally for 15 out of the 16 hours out of the day, I was chasing pleasure. I wasn't praying my salahs. I was committing sins. I was not respected. No one believed or respected what I said because I didn't deserve to. I hated the way I looked. I hated the way I felt. I thought I was a loser. And the school marks didn't help. It only solidified my identity. It only solidified my loserness. This is what mediocrity is. This is what chasing pleasure is. This is what all of this is. Chasing pleasure. Settling for less. Not pushing yourself. Not trying to reach your height. Not trying to reach your goals. Not trying to become the best version of yourself in any way, shape, or form. If you're not going to do it for yourself, do it for your Allah. Make Him happy. Don't let Him. You're His creation. So why would you, as His creation, waste all of the blessings that He gave you, the body He gave you? You know, a couple days ago, I saw like so many people with like literally walking with like a messed up leg. Yesterday I saw on the subway, like when I was going to my university, this woman couldn't even walk, bro. Like she had like some weird thing on her leg. A week before that, I saw another woman on a wheelchair and a guy on a wheelchair. I think it was a woman actually. And her legs were like plumped up. Like I don't know how I can explain this. Maybe, I don't know where my phone is. Well, my phone is in charge, but like, it's like her legs were like, imagine like a balloon. I think it's like a disease or something. It just like plumped up. So she can't even walk anymore. She's just sitting on a wheelchair. And she's just like, she can't do anything. I think she might have been homeless because of, literally can't do anything. She's like, her legs are fully plumped up. So imagine, Allah gave us all of this and we're just like wasting it all. We don't deserve anything in this life, bro. We don't deserve Jannah, bro. We don't deserve Jannah. The solution, my solution, what I did is I've had enough. And I think this is why I went so like to the opposite side. You know how some people like they start doing habits and they start trying to become disciplined, but they never really stick to it, or they never have this passion for it. You know, they see people online like myself that talk about being disciplined and that talk about all of this stuff that I'm talking about, like, you know, discipline, good habits, self-improvement, trying to improve yourself, learning, pushing yourself, pushing your mind, stop being lazy. I talk about this stuff, right? And they hear it, and then they don't have that passion like I did. And I feel like a lot of that is because of the trials and tribulations that Allah put me through. That happened because of my own reason. As Allah says in the Quran, whatever bad that comes to you, just know that it is from what your own hands have done. Meaning, the bad that came to me, I mean, it was all self-inflicted. I was the one chasing pleasure. Not Allah. Allah didn't make me chase pleasure. I was the one neglecting my salahs. I was the one doing my sins. I was the one just chasing emptiness. And that's where I turned up. That's the way I turned up. So I think I was so deep into that sort of lifestyle that I went completely 180 into the other way, into self-improvement, where I ended up cutting out my best of friends because I realized, and I don't have any hatred towards them. I think they're great people. I think they helped me a lot. We knew each other for 10 plus years. It's just, we were just going different paths. I just felt like maybe we didn't align in what we wanted from the future. Maybe they changed now. I haven't spoke to them. That's why I ended up cutting most of them off. The solution is you are doing yourself, Allah, and the rest of your family, the rest of your bloodline, especially of course Allah, the rest of the ummah, because the ummah is one body. You're doing all of these a disfavor by you being a lazy, pathetic loser who just does not push themselves and who makes up every single excuse to stay the way you are. You are doing everyone else a disservice, a disfavor. Now think about it. Do you want to live like that? Do you want to live that way? Is that how you want to live for the rest of your life? Do you want to just chase empty pleasure, which you know that the pleasure never brings you happiness and you still chase it? So do you really want to live like that? If not, then start, and I mean right now. If you really want to change, if you don't want to change and you don't do what I'm saying right now, then you really don't want to change. In the background, you don't want to change. But start to change. How? Change who you want to be. If you don't like the way you are right now, which you probably don't if you're watching until this moment, change yourself. How do I change myself? Change yourself into the person that you would like to be. A person who is confident, a person who is good looking, who is, who likes the way they look, who feels good about themselves without feeling arrogance, of course. A person who is accomplished in many realms of life. A person who Allah is pleased with. A person who is ready to go into the grave and into the next life. You have so much to do. I have so much to do. We know what to do, but we always neglect that thing. So, if that's you, change yourself completely. Change the stuff you watch online. Make the sacrifices and delete those apps, delete Instagram, follow a routine, and choose to become disciplined for the sake of Allah. And watch in 2 and 3 weeks. Watch in a month. Let's see if you stay disciplined. Let's say you stay depressed in a month from now, because I guarantee you're not gonna. I guarantee you'll feel so fulfilled. I guarantee you'll be so purposeful in the next month, the next 2 weeks. Wallahi, you would look at the life you were living before as what am I doing? I don't recognize my old self from 2 years ago. I don't recognize that person. I think of myself as, how did I live like that? It seemed impossible. And inshallah, you're going to feel like that soon. So, push yourself, push your body, become disciplined for Allah. Seek your knowledge, start learning about Islam, start learning about who Allah is, and focus on your purpose to becoming the best version of yourself. And if that's, going to the gym, do it. The best thing is, I'll make a video about this soon, is follow a routine. Because the routine is what keeps you, by the will of Allah, consistent. Because the routine is telling you, at this time you have to go to the gym. If you don't go, then you're not being disciplined, right? So you have to go now, because you're accountable now. And change how you view yourself. Change who you are by becoming those things I talked about earlier. Alright, hopefully this helped. Assalamu alaikum. I love you. Bye.